Well, this is uh this is sad. And let me begin by saying that considering everything that's happened around this case, I still believe that she probably didn't kill herself. Self delete. I don't give a shit. I'm not playing that YouTube game. That's why I can't grow. But it doesn't matter. I don't believe I don't believe that Virginia Giuffre killed herself. I don't. But if her family's um, testimony, for lack of a better term, about her final days, as you can see in the headline, Jeffrey Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre, heartbreaking final days before suicide revealed. She was going through it, and like I said on the last podcast I did this past Saturday, Clown War Chronicles number 120. Considering everything she went through, and then getting hit by the bus, and then all that stuff, I would not be shocked if she actually did self delete. I would not be surprised at all. I am open to the idea that this was not that she didn't get Epsteined. That she didn't get Clinton, that she didn't get John McAfee, that she actually just called it a career. And I know there's a tweet going around from 2019. I shared it myself. Of hers from 2019 where she specifically says she's not suicidal. And I believe in that moment when she tweeted that out, she was being serious. She wasn't. But that was 6 years ago. A lot can change in 6 years. Virginia Giuffre's loved ones have detailed her heartbreaking final days in the lead up to her death last week. Giuffre, who became the most prominent victim of late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, died by suicide Friday, her family confirmed. She was 41. She had been living in Australia at the time of her death, though her life began to unravel in recent months following her split from husband Robert Giuffre after 22 years of marriage. Virginia really wasn't looking too great in that picture. Like, you know, looks like she's not fucking happy. And look, she's getting breakfast in bed. She got pancakes, fruit, fucking orange juice right there. The pair were embroiled in a bitter custody battle over their three children, 19, 16, and 15. Well, two of them, one was an adult, and one was old enough that they could have, that most courts, I don't know about Australia, but in the United States, a 16-year-old, unless one of the parents is just completely, unfit, most courts would allow a 16-year-old, to decide who she wants to live with, who they want to live with. Giuffre's brother, Sky Roberts, told People earlier this month that she hadn't been able to gain access to her kids in months due to her estranged husband's restraining order filing. See? It wasn't just the bus accident, man. She was going through it. It's the worst pain in the world to not have access to your children, he told the outlet. Can you imagine the pain? I will tell you, all the physical pain will never amount to the pain of being separated from your children in that way. Meanwhile, Sky's wife and Giuffre's sister-in-law, Amanda Roberts, alleged to the outlet that Giuffre's husband had been physically abusive. Well, let's just take everybody at their word for now. Let's not assume that her brother and sister-in-law are just lying. That there had been physical abuse from the husband, that he had a restraining order against her. She wasn't allowed to see her kids. Why she couldn't see the 19-year-old is a fucking mystery to me, but whatever. There's her and her ex-husband. Clearly, that's her kids before the oldest was 19, who I assume would be this one right here. Quote, I think the last incident they had, she almost died, Amanda said, of an alleged January incident, and we had to speak that truth with her on the phone. And I think she had acknowledged that if she had one more instance with him, she wasn't making it out of there, she said. Giuffre made headlines last month when she posted a photo of her bruised face on social media, claiming she had been struck by a bus and had 4 days to live. Interesting. I remember that. I used that as a thumbnail. This has been the worst start to a new year, she wrote in the caption. I'm ready to go. Just not until I see my babies one last time, but you know what they say about wishes. However, a bus driver claimed shortly after she had blown it out of proportion. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Giuffre later claimed she suffered years of physical abuse at the hands of her husband. Robert added that Giuffre and her husband had been undergoing marital issues for some time before finally splitting in August 2023. Like, it is interesting to me that the 19-year-old didn't want to see her, so it's murky. But like I said, she seemed like she was going through it. But anyway, I didn't hear about this. Bus driver disputes Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre's collision claims blown out of proportion. The school bus driver who allegedly hit Jeffrey Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre of said the mom of three was completely exaggerating when she suggested the accident nearly killed her. Giuffre, 41, who was allegedly sexually trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was a teenager, made headlines on Tuesday when she posted a harrowing picture of herself in a hospital bed covered in bruises, claiming she only had 4 days to live. Ross Munns, the bus driver involved in what Australian police dubbed a minor collision, said Giuffre's posts on social media had been blown out of proportion. The Daily Mail reported. The bus driver claimed the incident, which occurred in Nirgaby just after 3 p.m. on March 24th, happened when he tried to overtake a slow-moving white Toyota Highlander driven by a 71-year-old woman. Munns, who was driving with 29 kids on board at the time, said he started to pass the car, only for it to turn right, causing him to clip the vehicle and damage its taillight. Quote, the driver basically pulled out in front of me. I made sure she was all right, and I went and did a police report. She was elderly and asked if she was okay. She said, yes, I'm okay, he added. Munn maintains that he never actually saw Giuffre inside the vehicle, and his only other interaction with the driver entailed checking on her condition and warning her to put up her signals when making a turn. Huh. That's all the conversation was, and she asked how the kids on the bus were, and I said, fine, it wasn't a major crash, he concluded. Police confirmed that Munn had contacted them the following day, adding that no injuries were reported as a result of the crash, which left the car with about $2,000 worth of damage. Munn said he was not obliged to report the incident to police, but did because he had an uneasy feeling about the crash. After informing the driver that he had contacted the police, the woman allegedly revealed to him that there was a passenger in the car who suffered a black eye. The bus driver was ultimately shocked to learn that the whole incident became news across the globe following Giuffre's Instagram post. And in the original post, in which Giuffre's spokesperson said was intended for a private Facebook account, she claimed she had gone into kidney renal failure after a bus allegedly traveling 68 miles per hour plowed into her. Huh, was she fucking lying about all this? Yeah, I just read that in the other article. Rather than resulting from the crash, Giuffre's injuries allegedly came from a fall, according to 7 News, with Post Wires. Giuffre, who was born in the United States but relocated to Australia, was reportedly discharged from the hospital the following day and then brought into another hospital the following week, where she was also discharged. Was this bitch lying about how horribly smashed she was by this truck? Hmm. Seems like I don't know, man. This whole thing seems like fucking wild. But regardless, if she's lying about the fucking car accident and how bad it was, like still, it just seems like this was a sad, lonely lady. And yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if like I don't know. Did she kill herself? Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, if you agree that she did or didn't, whatever, just like, comment down below and like the video and sub and follow the links and sub to my other channels and, follow me on X. Do all that stuff for me. Throw me a bone.